Hello, this is my presentation on the art theories assignment. My name is Hannah. The artwork I chose for this specific assignment is The Great Wave off Kanagawa. I have always loved this painting. I think it is so beautiful. I have it hanging in multiple places. I have multiple different things with prints of this or this design on it. It's always stuck out to me in some way. To start off with my initial observation of this painting, obviously what first grabs your eye is the humongous wave. It is big, it is curved, it forms almost this spiral shape as you look at it, and after you look at that, then you notice that, okay, there's some other things floating around. There's a boat, there's a couple boats, there's people on these boats. And that immediately invokes a sense of fear, a sense of, wow, this is so big, this is so dangerous. My initial thought was that this was a nature versus man situation. You see this throughout many different works of art throughout history, whether it's man facing an animal, man facing a natural disaster, something of that nature. And they all kind of come together to show that nature is bigger than we are, and that we are almost subservient to nature. For my analysis, let's start with subject matter. The large wave threatening the three boats would appear to be the rowers of the boats. They're all huddled together, they're scared, they're almost clutching their oars. And then compared to this massive wave, you see Mount Fuji in the distance, and it's small and it's kind of framed by the wave. The wave almost looks like it could take it out when it crashes. And the water and the waves are the main focus, and to me, the foam on the waves almost resembled fingers that were grabbing at something. For the content, for me, the main theme is the power of nature and the fact that we don't live forever. Our existence is fleeting. In Japan, Mount Fuji is very important, and it represents stability and the spirit of the country of Japan. The wave itself represents our fleeting existence as mortal humans. We are not here forever. That is the beauty of life. That is what makes life so precious. And it also shows that nature will continue even after our deaths. In my opinion, it is showing a crucial split-second moment, right before that wave comes crashing down, right before reality hits you in the face. It's that life or death moment. It's that life flashes before your eyes moment. These people in these boats are staring up at this wave, huddled to each other, praying and hoping that they're going to survive, but they're not sure if they will. Now, the artist didn't just use blue. In fact, that's one of the biggest parts of this artwork, is that they used Prussian blue. It is a very vivid color, and it makes the water very deep and saturated, and it sticks out. The lines of the water, they curve in this painting. They create that spiral that I mentioned before. And this contrasts the lines of the mountain in the back. Mount Fuji is triangular. It's got sharper lines, whereas the lines of the water are a lot more smooth and they've got more movement in them. And there is an element of asymmetry. The wave on the left almost sinks the painting down to the left. It almost feels heavier on the left. But it is kind of balanced out by the space on the top right, the negative space that is sitting up there. It kind of brings it more centered, more balanced. It keeps you from feeling like you're staring at one side for too long. Now, for my theory, I picked formalism. This piece does have pretty deep cultural meaning, but I think that formalism is the most effective evaluation method. There is a very clear focus on composition with this painting. There is color, like the Prussian blue, that brings it to life, and there's the unity of all the combined elements. Now, for the composition, it has what is called the golden ratio, and it's got these mathematical and spiral shapes. The way that the curve of that wave leads your eyes directly to the center is huge, and it is a very big win for formal design. For the color, I think a formalist would point to the use of Prussian blue as being a defining feature of this specific artwork. its impact is not solely reliant on the artist and her backstory and life. It is heavily reliant on the contrast visually between the deep blue and the white that just grabs you and sticks out. Um, and then for all the elements and the unity of the elements, the repetition of the waves, like almost claws, it kind of mirrors the shape of the foam, and the snow on Mount Fuji creates that unity that makes it feel very complete and kind of satisfying. Um, the power for this specific artwork comes from how it is composed, using the lines and the shapes and everything to create a rhythm. It is more than just, the specific event that it is depicting. So, to summarize all of that, the title is The Great Wave off Kanagawa. The artist is, and I'm praying I don't butcher this name, Katsushika Hokusai, and it was made in 1831. The subject matter is a massive wave about to make its crash, and these boats attempting to navigate it safely. And then what I'm assuming and calling Mount Fuji is visible in the distance. The content is the scary and overwhelming power of nature in the natural world, and I should have included this in there too, but the reality that life is not forever, the reality that human life does not last forever. That is what makes it special. Some of my key observations on form were the contrast of the blue and the white in the water, the spiral of the wave and the movement of the boats in the water, and the asymmetrical balance. And then my evaluation